What's up everyone, it's time for another pickups video here. I'm going to go through some really cool games here, some essentials, and in the latter half of the video I'll go over some brief accessories and collectibles. That being said, let's talk about our first pickup here. No particular order except for console specific. I'm going to try and keep it uniform. Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is a game that I truly didn't have any intention to pick up, solely based off of the criticisms that it was getting for its visuals and that sort of thing, but it's a Pokemon game that is straying away from the tried and true formula that has been going on for decades now for this franchise, and it takes on a more open world Monster Hunter-like approach to the formula. I've been playing it for a couple hours now, and you'll actually see the screenshot which sold me on the game.
Yo, this new Pokemon game, wildin'!
Like, I just thought that was so funny, and it kind of showed me the potential for funny situations which this game offers, and I was sold. I have the North American version right here. I had the opportunity to pick up the Japanese version, which actually looks really awesome, so I kind of regret that, but it's all good. I've been having fun with it. Despite this game not having all the Pokemon in it, I'm still crossing my fingers for the day in which we get some sort of Pokemon game with every single Pokemon in it. That's going to be awesome. I don't know when that will ever happen. If they can make it an MMO, that would be even better. But yeah, I see like this is Game Freak's first foray into this sort of genre, and there's lots of potential here, so maybe they're just testing it out and they're going to expand on it. For sure there's going to be DLC on this game with more areas and more Pokemon. That is my prediction. But bottom line, I've been having fun with this game, and you should check it out. If you're a big Pokemon fan, you're not going to be let down by this one. My next game, a lot of you may be familiar with it already, but it's quite the unique pickup here. I got Ape.5 from Devolver Digital. I got the physical release for this from Special Reserve Games. I got lucky enough to get a copy through their second chance sale. They still had some copies available because there was only 3,000 of them printed, supposedly. And a lot of love went into this release, as you can see here. It comes with a color manual, and we'll get into the steelbook real soon here. But this game is awesome. I've been streaming it and enjoying every second of it. It's a top-down speedrun obstacle course type game with bite-sized levels. You're this gorilla that's trying to escape testing facilities, and there's armed guards and scientists trying to kill you with flamethrowers, explosives, shotguns, and that sort of thing. So you're trying to navigate through all these levels without getting killed, and it is just so much fun. Very pick up and play. This steelbook is awesome. You're not going to be able to make it out too much, but it has this embossed texture on the glass shards, and the gorilla itself has this metal sheen on the inside, and I've just really been enjoying playing this game. It's going to be one of the next games that I beat this year actually, so I'm pretty excited about that. I've been slacking hard on the games that I'm beating this year, but Ape.5 is one that I've enjoyed so much that I haven't been able to stop playing it, to be honest. So Ape.5, super cool. If you can get yourself a copy, do yourself a favor. Next up, we got a essential game. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. I have the original version of this game on the Wii, and it is the big box edition with the gold Wiimote that will... I'll be able to keep that game sealed forever and not have to devalue that product, because now I can play this copy. And since this is the HD version of it. It's probably the best version to play. It also gives you the option to use button-only controls. I know a lot of people criticize the original game for having that Wiimote waggle, obligatory Wiimote waggle thing that not a lot of people are fond of. So I'll be able to play this version and have my other version sealed, and I love doing that sort of thing. But this is an essential Zelda game. The crowd is a little bit split in between whether it's a good one or a bad one. Nonetheless, it's a quality product, and I'm really happy to add it to my collection. Bit of a controversial pickup here. I have Balan Wonderworld, the Switch edition. It's not even the PS4 edition or anything like that, but it's by Square Enix, which is weird, right? Because Square Enix usually focuses on RPG style games, and this is a 3D platformer collectathon that a lot of people hate. A lot of people have hated this game. It's supposed to be some sort of spiritual successor to Knights, and unless the game is filled with bugs and glitches, I see myself enjoying it. I've seen enough people enjoy the game and say that it's decent enough, that it's not the worst game they've ever played. It just kind of piqued my interest, and it was a purchase that I wanted to make because I saw enough to be intrigued by it. Like, you wear costumes and you can traverse through levels with those newfound abilities found in the costumes, that sort of thing. This guy kind of creeps me out. I don't know what that's supposed to be. That is terrifying, but they dropped the price so dramatically for this game since it didn't perform that well that I just had to scoop it up. Killer Queen Black. So many people lose it over this game. They love it a lot. It's like this MOBA tower defense game, and I believe you could play it online. If not, it's just the excellent couch multiplayer game to play. It draws inspiration from games like Awesome Knots and even Joust. I love Joust a lot, so I don't know much about the game, but it has these cool 16-bit pixel graphics, and yeah, thought I'd had to pick it up.
Okinawa Rush.
I need to say a special thank you to Roy, Don, and Gabby from the Game MD. They've made my game collection what it is today. This video isn't sponsored or anything, but I do need to say thank you to my favorite local game store in town. They always have the most awesome games, and I buy the bulk of my collection from that store. Okinawa Rush is a 16-bit 2D action game in which you're this dude fighting hordes of ninjas. And I've played the game for an hour or two, and the controls are actually pretty deep. There's a lot of button combinations and Hadouken motions that you can use to execute certain attacks. Even though the game looks simple, I think the controls are pretty deep, and the action is pretty awesome. It's kind of cheesy, kind of serious at the same time. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's a pretty awesome game. It seems pretty tough as well. Double Dragon Neon. Limited Run published this physical version right here, and we all know this iconic beat-em-up franchise, Double Dragon. And here is a revamped entry into the series. Brand new experience right here. I want to stream this game, obviously. I just love my beat-em-ups. And yeah, check out the feel of this game. Very 80s. They're trying to reboot the franchise with this game here. I'm pretty excited to try it out. Yeah. Carrion. I had this game digitally. As soon as I found out that they were printing physical copies, I had to snag one. Very, very interesting concept for a game. I think they describe it as a reverse horror game in which you are the monster, this weird, fleshy, blobby, tentacled mess of a monster. I played the game for a couple hours as well. You just spaghetti your way through air vents and you eat scientists, and your blob gets bigger and bigger and more tentacles just flopping everywhere. And yeah, no, it's pretty sweet. I like the art style for it as well. It's very pixelated, and as you're thrashing your way through the laboratory, all the limbs and blood remain scattered in the level, and it's just a really creepy and awesome aesthetic to it. Very neat concept. I don't know if this is going to remain sealed because I just can't resist the goodies which may lie within. Probably a full color manual and that sort of stuff, but I don't know. It's just a really cool cover art here. I'm glad to add this to my physical collection. Astral Chain, an essential game, I believe. Thank you, Dad, for this Christmas gift. That I have the European, the PAL copy here, as you can see by the age rating. You can't make it up on camera, but it has that special like Nintendo security strip that I'm gonna enjoy peeling off whenever the time may come. The first sort of game that I have sealed like that, so that's gonna be a unique experience. This game is just a 3D action game in which you're one of these police people here that has like a ghostly entity chained to them to another dimension that helps them beat up all sorts of demons and stuff like that. Very interesting premise. A lot of people are asking for part 2, so I'm excited to delve into part 1. Astral Chain. Crystales. I don't know much about this game, but the art style is as you see it here, very colorful and cartoony. I believe this is an RPG turn-based game, but the actual play arena has like a grid-based fighting system. So I thought that was a pretty unique concept. I think that's kind of like South Park, a fractured but whole style game. So if you're into that sort of thing, I think this game is for you. Every time a traditional style JRPG, not too traditional since it has that weird mechanic that I just described, but every time an RPG of sorts that is trying to bring back that old school gameplay comes out nowadays, I try and pick it up just to see what sort of twists they put on it and just to kind of relish in the nostalgia. So Crystales by Modus. I think last on the Switch games, I have Moving Out, another PAL edition, another amazing contribution by my favorite people over at the GameMD. Team 17 published it. Love these guys. This is the ultimate get into a fight with your spouse because they're not cooperating in the game sort of game. You're a little moving company and you have to go into people's homes and lumber around very heavy couches and coordinate with the person you're playing couch co-op with to make sure not to smash into the very fragile lamp so that you can get that achievement in that level and get the best sort of score. So very silly physics-based gameplay going on here. Love the visuals, the cooperative nature of the game. You can play it by yourself, sure, but the true fun lies playing with someone else. Up to 4 people can play it. It's a really cool game. I recommend it if you're into those chaotic, silly physics-based games. Having lots of fun with Moving Out so far. I need to play it some more. I got Resistance, Fall of Man by Insomniac. This is one of the first PS3 games to come out, and I remember back in the day when they were advertising the multiplayer capability of the game and how you can get lobbies of like 180 or so people. If I remember correctly, it was some sort of insane player count that back then was unheard of, at least not for console players. So this is a first-person shooter for the PS3 in which you're some dude and you're killing a whole bunch of aliens and there's like really awesome weapons. First entry into a trilogy. My brother recommended this series. He said it was really awesome. So here is part 1. Followed by part 2. Resistance 2. I heard this is the weakest entry in the series, and part 3 I think being best. I almost got a copy of part 3, but it was incomplete, and you know me, I can't have my games incomplete, so here I have... Oh, that's some horrible damage on the game case that I did not notice there, but that's fine. I'm on the lookout for part 3 now. This is more the same, but not as good. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds. This game didn't make much of a splash as part 2 did. Is it part 2? Is it part 1? I don't know which one is the really famous one that I still need to get. But this is on the PS3. It's a fighting game. It has, characters like Ryu versus Iron Man, that sort of team battling aspect to it. I figured I'd pick myself up a copy because somewhere down the line I feel like this game is going to get kind of hard to find. That's me just speculating, but yeah, good stuff here. And within the PlayStation 4 games, we're doing a little section here on the VR. I got the Inpatient for the virtual reality headset. This game is developed by... So, quick pause here. I was actually thinking this entire time that this game was the one that was developed by From Software, the same developers of the Soulsborne series, and that game is actually called Derasine. I have no idea how I confused the both of them. Must be because it's some sort of horror game and you're in a hospital, something like that. I thought it was Japan Studios or like the same, or From Software, but I don't actually see that mentioned anywhere. Maybe I'm completely incorrect. I have no idea what this game's about. Looks like you're trapped in a hospital or something. There's creepy stuff going on, and people are trying to run medical exams on you. Sounds terrifying. Have no idea what I'm getting into, but nice to have some VR pickups. It's been a while because my go-to is usually No Man's Sky. I love that in virtual reality. Here we have The Persistence. Again, I have no idea what this game's about, but it looked kind of interesting. There's some like weirdo zombies or something, and you have some like crazy telekinetic powers, it seems. The Outer Worlds, a game that I've been trying to pick up for a long time and I found in a Walmart bargain bin. So I was like, sign me up. This is supposed to be a Fallout-like game. And kind of missed the mark, I believe. There weren't too many people that loved it dearly or anything, but I heard it was decent. And I kind of see it as an essential game if you enjoy the Fallout series, which I do, so I had to pick this one up.
Killzone Shadowfall.
$9.96. I think it's the perfect time to start collecting for the PS4. You're going to see a lot of big titles just thrown in bargain bins at Walmart, as you can see here. A couple others had the sticker as well, but I figured I'd remove them. This is one of the first-person shooters that came out when the PlayStation 4 came out, and nothing but good things about this game. I've heard that the visuals still hold up to this day and they look excellent. I'm not a huge Killzone guy, but every entry seems to be, although they are intertwined, they could be enjoyed as standalone experiences. So this is actually my first Killzone game that I own, and it's for the PS4, so it's going to look real nice. and I figured I'd pick one up. Another essential game, we have The Last of Us Part 2. Will they release DLC for this game? I don't know, I haven't played it yet. I completed Part 1, and I did not complete Part 1's DLC side story thing. So I need to do that before I get into this one. Another controversial game. I don't know what problem people had with this game exactly, but it had something to do with, I don't know, the characters in the game. But I've heard of plenty of people that loved it as well, and the game just looks fantastic. The action is super gory, and the story, again, is awesome, just like it was in Part 1. So, eventually I was going to get this game, and it was part of a Black Friday sale or something like that, just to give you a sort of idea how long I've been stockpiling games before I made another pickups video. Last of Us Part 2, an essential game by Naughty Dog. Another must-have, in my opinion, from a PlayStation-owned studio, I believe. This is Days Gone. And you're supposed to be this dude that has a motorcycle that runs around and avoids massive mobs of angry zombies. I've heard that in this game there's too much emphasis on having to babysit your motorcycle. Like, you have to upkeep and maintain it way too much, that it kind of becomes a inconvenience of sorts. But I've seen the gameplay. I've seen the giant hordes of zombies that you can blow to smithereens or just run away from, and it just looks pretty heart-pumping, pretty exciting. Some white-knuckle excitement in this game that I want to experience for myself. Like, I know this is part of the promotion for, like, games with gold or whatever PlayStation's program is for being able to play a lot of titles on the PS5 once that launched. Yeah, I could probably get it for free digitally, but you know me, I need my physical copy. And I'll play this game someday. Probably never. A game that I'm absolutely looking forward to playing is Doom Eternal. Shout out to my wife for getting this for me for Christmas. I played Doom 2016. That was a blast. I actually beat it on Switch. Doom Eternal did not come out on Switch, unfortunately. At least, not to my knowledge. It might be one of those cloud-based games that I'm just not a fan of at all. But here we have the release on the PS4, and I heard this game was just supposed to one-up the first entry, the 2016 one, in every sense. And you have this awesome grappling hook that adds a lot of mobility to this first-person shooter. And yeah, it seems intense, it seems action-packed, bloody, gory, and just tight controls. I'm looking forward to playing this one. Another game which a lot of my fans out there might be familiar with is The Takeover. I've been streaming The Takeover, and I beat it on stream as well. It only took me like 3 episodes. This game is quite short. You could probably beat it in a single sitting, but it is beat 'em up inspired by Streets of Rage, that sort of thing. I enjoyed the hell out of this game. Love the visuals. It was on its way to becoming a 9 out of 10 beat 'em up for me. It was the first game that I beat this year, actually. And the only criticism I have of this game is that the ending was pretty anticlimactic. I wasn't too much a fan of the final boss and what happens at the end. So if it wasn't for that, it might have been a 9 out of 10. I still say this is a very enjoyable beat 'em up, and it was a really fun playthrough, but there's a lot of untapped potential in one part of the game. There's some interesting segments that they could have followed up on. I might review this game on the channel here, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. So if you're a fan of beat 'em ups, by all means, pick this game up. It was a limited run release, so I'm not sure how hard it is to come across, but even if you want it digitally, you should check it out. This one's kind of a surprise. KZ and the Wild Masks by Sedesco. I have here the PS4 version. There is a Switch version, which I may have wanted to opt for, but I wasn't too familiar with the title, and when in doubt, I'll get the PS4 version of it just because I know that, you know, the system is more powerful than the Switch, obviously, so if there are any hiccups, it might be in the Switch version. Anyways, I'm rambling here, but this game is interesting because it is a 2D platformer, which is heavily inspired by the Donkey Kong Country series. And I absolutely love that trilogy, the original one. And I've seen some gameplay here in which our protagonist, this bunny of sorts, uses its long ears to helicopter glide as Dixie Kong did in part 2 of that trilogy. So this looks really awesome. It's gonna be added to my rotation once I clear out some of the games that I'm working on, and this is probably gonna make its way on over to the streams as well, but it looks pretty interesting. K's and the Wild Masks. Here I have Crisis Remastered Trilogy. I'm not really sure what the heck is going on with this Crisis trilogy, but I'm seeing Limited Run doing the releases separately, and here we have them all together remastered. So I don't know what the distinction is between them. I picked this copy up over at Walmart. Again, it was in a bargain bin. I remember back in the day I played Crisis Part 2 on the PS3. I didn't really enjoy it too much. Like, it wasn't blowing my mind like a lot of people claimed it would. But here we have all 3 entries in the series, and as a completionist and a collector, I just had to get this copy. Yeah, just an interesting first-person shooter in which you're this dude in a crazy bodysuit that gives you all sorts of superpowers, and you mow down hordes of enemies, including aliens and that sort of thing, and you have these crazy stealth abilities, all that sort of thing. My last PS4 pickup, I kind of felt obliged to pick up Override 2 Super Mech League. This is the Ultraman Deluxe Edition, which includes some stuff, some bonus content. It's a Ultraman Season Pass containing 4 supercharged Ultraman characters. Ultraman, Bemular, Dan Moroboshi, and Black King. Sure. I think this is an arena-style 3D fighting game, and apparently it's a bunch of mechs fighting each other. I got it because of my boy Ultraman. Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy for PS5. I am by no means a comic book Marvel fan. Like, I don't go out and watch all the Spider-Man movies or anything like that. Try not to crucify me for that, but I'm just so deep into video games that is the most pop culture I will consume, as it is all-consuming anyways.
Right, so I don't have time for another hobby.
But I've heard nothing but good things about this game. I heard it's amazing from my brother, and he insisted that I pick this game up. And it's just supposed to look amazing on the new console. And this is kind of a quick playthrough, so I'm excited to get into this one just because of the widespread praise that this game has received. It's very much interesting me. Death Stranding Director's Cut. Another controversial game by many. The walking simulator from the creator, or the creative genius behind the Metal Gear series, right? Hideo Kojima. Yeah, the infamous walking simulator. This one went under my radar, at least the PS5 release did. This one is the director's cut. It's supposed to include some stuff. Let me read it off cam. You could be entertained by Wobbly Mario. It says, enjoy advanced combat and PS5 innovations, explore added story locations and minigames, and stay connected with the social strand system. I don't know what that last point means, but it seems like this is the all-inclusive edition of stuff. And I've been wanting to check this game out, no matter if it's a walking simulator or not. The visuals look pretty great, and I heard it was just kind of wacky. The story's all over the place, and very unexpected, but here it is on PS5. Ah, yes! Yakuza Like a Dragon on PS5. This is a game that's going to be making its way onto my game rotation immediately. I'm making some good progress on my backlog, and this one is just going to insert its way into the game rotation. It is a very unique Yakuza game in that it is RPG style in nature, not so much just a 3D brawler. This one put a spin on the franchise and has some sort of turn-based combat in which the 3D arenas are still fully traversable, and there's like real-time movement and that sort of stuff. But there is that aspect of RPG stuff in it, and my brother has praised this game so much that it has very much intrigued me, and I just have to check it out. Let me know in the comments if you've played this game before and how much you like it or not liked it. Alright, moving on to some odds and ends. Still got a few games here. For PS1, Shadow Man. And for PS2, Shadow Man 2, The Second Coming. Mother-in-law, I don't know where we stand on these two games, but I think she's just letting me borrow them indefinitely. So shout out to you, mother-in-law, for trusting me with two of your prized gaming possessions. She says she loves Part 1 so very much, and I don't know much about this franchise, to be honest, but I know that Part 1 just made its way on over to the Switch Virtual eShop, and I wish it were to get a physical release so I could return this to its rightful owner and then just have a remastered version to play on the Switch. But kind of a 3D action game. You're some dude that travels through the real world and the shadow world and fights all sorts of enemies and that sort of thing. She really loves this game. It's one of her favorite games of all time. So I'm pretty interested to see what all the hubbub's about. The back to the game is pretty cool. It has like a metallic sheen on these little blurbs here. But this is her original copy. So these are some very sacred possessions that I have here. And I will take very good care of them. No worries. We've got a little fella here. Let's see if we can zoom in without this being a catastrophe. Let me just hold it up to the camera. Yoshi Topsy Turvy on the Game Boy Advance. Check out the cartridge here. It has like an added chunk that probably contains the gyroscope within. This was a local find on Facebook Marketplace. I love me some Yoshi. I sure do. And a pretty unique entry for Yoshi, although all his entries are unique, because this one just uses a gyroscope to dictate where Yoshi goes. So you tilt your Game Boy Advance left and right, and the character responds accordingly on the screen. Just some innovative stuff from Nintendo as usual. And yeah, I really wanted to get this game because I don't come across it very much, to be honest. I've never actually seen it, and the game cartridge is this nice green color, and I'll check it out. See, now that I have my Game Boy Advance SP, I have the ability to play this game. We got a PS2 pickup here. It's Seek and Destroy. Another recommendation by Churrasco Voltorb Gaming. He said that this is a sentient tank role-playing game in which all inhabitants of this game world are talking vehicles, most of them tanks. And it's just like weird but awesome, and a lot of customization options included here. I'm very much looking forward to checking this one out. It seems to be very unique, and to my knowledge, there are a couple more entries that fall in line with the series of sentient vehicles. There's one with cars, and another one with, I don't know, but Seek and Destroy, check it out. It's super weird. Punch-Out for the Wii. This is the Nintendo Selects version. I'm not sure if the Nintendo Selects version is a separate edition than the one that you could only attain through the Nintendo Rewards program that they had online, that you redeem some coins and you end up getting the physical version in the mail. So maybe they re-released it out at large to the public, but this is a game that I've been looking for a long time, just because it is a first-party Nintendo title, and it says here that it's compatible with the Wii balance board, and I'm a bit weary on that, because not only are the controls destined to be janky utilizing that accessory, but I also do not own that accessory, and buying a balance board used is gross. So hopefully you can play the game without. Let me know in the comments if you're familiar with that. But yeah, just Punch-Out, a retro series that was tried to be revitalized with this entry here. You got Little Max sporting his new look. And yeah, I'm pretty happy to add this game to my collection. Finally, I've been looking for this one for a long time, and it is in immaculate shape. This is an interesting one, and one which I had to find a new jewel case for, because the one that I bought it in looked like it had been dunked in a vat of human poop. But anyways, we got Alien Trilogy here. This is the greatest hits version, but I'm okay with that. I've never seen this, and I never thought I'd find this out in the wild. But sure enough, I did right before making this video, and I was like, I've seen maybe 2 seconds worth of footage of this game, and the visuals look so awesome. I think it's a first-person shooter, and it just looks super cool. So, yeah, here it is. And the person that bought this game must have been obsessed with Alien, or just, I don't know. Thank you, kind stranger, whoever you may be. But they included in here some magazine snippets, and they're just taped on to another magazine snippet of the same game. So you have some cheats here. There's a stage, a level select cheat that they included so conveniently for me here. A mega cheat code, which activates God mode, that sort of thing. So hey, that was actually a very unique piece of history. I'll never know who this person was, but they're helping me out here so many years in the future. They probably had no idea they would be helping your boy Gnarly Seabass out with cheating in Alien Trilogy. So that's really awesome. I am on a light gun kick for some reason. So now that I have my NES fired up and running, I got myself a zapper in very nice shape. This thing is so satisfying to utilize. So again, shout out to Roy, Don, and Gabby for having an awesome store in which I can find these sorts of gems in. And along with this zapper, I had to get some essential games for it, including, as you'll see here in these retro style cases that I found in the same store. I'm not sure if these cases are first party or anything, but they have the Nintendo branding on it, so I would assume they kind of are, and they feel old. Anyways, we got Hogan's Alley, a very much essential light gun game if you have the NES Zapper. Man, I fired this game up with my wife, and my game room just took on this arcade-like feel to it, and it was just pure bliss. So much fun playing on the retro CRT television. Man, I tried putting myself back in the 80s, a time in which I wasn't even born yet, but to have this sort of technology available to you in your living room with your family gathered around the TV, and to be able to have an actual physical gun and you're shooting at your TV and the TV's responding to your aim very much precisely. It must have felt like magic back in the day, and it still carries a magical feeling nowadays, where we have all sorts of high-tech stuff and VR goggles and super high-end PCs. There's a charm that these retro accessories and games still carry with them to this day, that it is so enjoyable to pop this game in and just have a few rounds and, pretend like you're back in caveman times. Good stuff here. Love Hogan's Alley. I forgot to mention that for those of you that care or that are curious, the Hogan's Alley copy that I have, as pointed out to me by Roy, is the 5-screw version. These are the ones that are more sought after. I can't remember at this particular time why specifically the 5-screw versions are more sought after than the other ones, but yeah, it's cool to point that out. Along with Hogan's Alley, another light gun game here is we got the dual pack that came with the system back in the day, bundled. I think they called it the Power Bundle or something. You got the NES, this cartridge, a zapper. I'm not sure if you got the Power Glove, but Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is the game that I've also been playing with the light gun. And of course, you have the original Super Mario Bros. Now, because I have the original Super Mario Bros., I had to get Part 2, and I have them all here in these nice little cases. Super Mario Bros. 2. I just recently beat the Super Mario Bros. All-Star version of this iteration of the game. A wild departure from the traditional Mario formula, a reskinned Doki Doki Panic game. You're Mario and the cast, Toadstool, Toad, and Luigi, and you're picking up vegetables from the floor, and you can pick up enemies and throw everything at everyone. It's a pretty tough game. So here's Part 2. And shout out to Churrasco Voltorb for getting me Part 3 for Christmas. Here's Super Mario Bros. 3. One of the most beloved entries in the original Mario trilogy. This is a game that is highly regarded by many as being their favorite, and I have it here in physical form and in the retro cartridge, so that's always nice. Yeah. And then my last pickup for the NES and for video games in general in this video, it's Iron Tank. I got this game hoping that it was something like Tank City or Battle Urban Jungle. I forget what the game is called. I'll put it on screen for you, but this is just a completely different game, and don't know much about it. But yeah, some more tanks. Moving on to some accessories. I got myself one of these bad boys. It's the black PS5 DualSense controller. I had a couple white ones already, but the black one came out and it looked so cool. And then the very next day, after I got the black one, they announced that my favorite controller color possible was also coming to the system. So I had to get the purple one, and here it is.
She's a beaut.
Very nice. Now I have myself 4 PS5 controllers that I can play Gang Beasts, I guess, with friends. But yeah. Some collectibles to wind it down here. Let's start off, I guess, with... check out this awesome Warthog from Walmart that I picked up. Came with Master Chief, and then I just bought the extra figure back here. Trying to do a good job at showing everything on here. But yeah, the second figure is supposed to represent my buddy Kev, that we always, when we play Halo together, we always go for the Warthog and just mop the floor. So that's pretty cool. I got a Chibi Robo amiibo, and now for all you amiibo enthusiasts out there that know more than I do, I need to know which variant of the Chibi Robo amiibo this might be. As you can see up here, it has a little tab that just pops out from the back. It's and it's a little, it's supposed to be flimsy like that. It was actually bent like that. It was meant to be because there's a seam here. But I need to know if this is the version that came bundled in with Chibi Robo Ziplash, I think, for the 3DS. Because when I walked into the Game MD the other day, I saw another Chibi Robo amiibo, but it had like the full cardboard back, and it was a variant. And I think that one was the standalone amiibo, and what I have here is the one that came packaged with the 3DS game. Last I checked, when I was buying every single amiibo that I could possibly get my hands on, this one was kind of hard to come across. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely adding this guy to the collection, so he's probably going to remain sealed, and I'll put him in a nice display case and never stare at it. A really cool and interesting pickup, in my opinion, that I got my hands on recently is this super old retro Super Mario Bros. Statue is what the Facebook listing classified it as. So maybe we're playing a game of telephone here, but if they're correct, this was some sort of trophy. That's what they described it as, actually. And there's a little sticker here for you to put your name and like the date of whenever you beat the tournament, championship, won the championship. Not really sure, but yeah, there's like a retro bullet bill here in the back, and Mario looks very pallid and retro with his red overalls and blue undershirt. But yeah, this is a nice piece, I think, to add to the game room along with all my other retro stuff. He's gonna hang out up there for a bit. And then, yeah, let's go over this last little chunk of stuff that I have. We basically have Jack Pacific is releasing all these little figures. So we got Wendy, Orange Yoshi, the green Cheep Cheep. We got Boo, Bullet Bill, a Bob-omb, Green Toad. Yeah, Green Toad. And then we have Light Blue Yoshi, which is just impossible to get to stand on this puny little plastic sand. Let's see if I could nail it here on camera. Anyways, that wraps it up for this video of pickups. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm gonna be filming the rest of my Switch collection. If you guys haven't checked out the games that I got back from home, it'll be here suggested, but let me know which one of these was your favorite pickups from the video. There's too much stuff on my desk for me to stack games on, but anyways, let me know what you think. Okay, bye.